Good evening and welcome to Thai PBS World tonight. Indonesia, like other countries in Southeast Asia, is facing a tough situation of COVID-19. Today alone, the number of new cases has risen to 380. In the Thai PBS World tonight online, Kuntep Chayong and me talked to Andreas Hasono, a veteran journalist in Indonesia. He began by telling us how he has lost his close contacts because of COVID-19.
I have another friend who died earlier today, a women's rights defender. She is the third of my friend who died over the last 3 weeks.
Our condolences to his family and to you too, having lost good friends. So that means that nobody seems to be safe from this virus, right?
Oh yes, yes. The fact that we have close friends who die, this outbreak is not only a statistic. Officially, we have 120,000 something people under the government monitoring because of the coronavirus infection. But we are also having more than 42 doctors and nurses who died because of the outbreak, and hundreds of doctors and nurses, ambulance drivers who get the infections. Thus, they have to isolate themselves. You can imagine if we have hundreds of doctors who have the infection and they cannot work, it will affect the operation of our health system. At the same time, the lack of testing is rampant all over Indonesia. A country of 280 million people, we have less than 900 ventilators. At the same time, the government is not transparent. The statistics between Jakarta and provincial capital do not match. It is quite chaotic. At the same time, the police is arresting people who criticize how the government handling the outbreak. Right now, there are nearly 60 people in prison because of criticizing the government.
Testing is one of the biggest problems now, right?
Yes. So far, we have only less than 30 laboratoriums all over Indonesia that can do the testing. Indonesia has 34 provinces. There are more than, we have only 24 provinces that have the laboratoriums. And in fact, they were only set up in a hurry because as of early March, there was only one laboratory that can do the testing. So the government, of course, is working pretty fast, I have to say that. But still, there are still less than 20 provinces with this laboratorium testing to test the coronavirus infection.
And what's the stringent measures that the government announced? And do people comply with those measures, Andrea?
It depends. In many areas, people do not comply because, again, people say that we need to work. Street vendors, transportation workers, people who work in the security sectors, in the market, logistical sector, they still need to work because if they don't work, there is nothing to eat. And the government estimated that about 3.8 million workers have lost their job, and it is going to increase more than 5 million in the next 1 week, 2 weeks.
The back on the question of testing, because of what you said is the inadequate testing earlier, so the figures released by the government on the infection cases and the deaths are not that reliable then, right?
No, it is not reliable. Until now, we do not know for sure how many infections are there in Indonesia. There is a province, for instance, day 1, it was announced that they have 16 infections. Day 2, 17. And day 3, 15. How can the number of infections going down? And there is also a statement that someone who already died because of coronavirus turned out to be negative, but he already died. And a lot of people who were buried with the so-called coronavirus COVID-19 protocol without being tested. And most of them were suspected wrongly to have dengue fever, when of course they are not having dengue fever. Without this accurate data, without this accurate statistic, medical expert mathematicians, they cannot predict a good model. And without a good model, without an understanding about the real number, the government will have difficulties to handle the outbreak. And of course, Indonesia is an archipelago with more than 17,000 islands, 34 provinces, many ethnic cultural groups, many religious groups. It is a handicap to impose a single policy nationwide. One province is different from another province. One ethnic group is different to another ethnic group.
But overall, you think the government is catching up now?
Yes, I would like to say the government is catching up. And most importantly, civil society group, businesses, they are helping. A month ago, we were running out of masks. A month ago, we did not have adequate hazmat suit for the medical workers. Thus, there are many medical workers who got infected and they died or infected. But a month from March, I think the number of hazmat suit have been catching up. Now it is rare to see nurses or doctors using raincoats or plastic rubber boot going into the hospital. We are having more and more medical equipment. The problem, of course, is the PCR and the reagent to do the testing, as well as ventilators, life-saving ventilators. We are only having less than 900 ventilators nationwide, and this is the country of 280 million people.
And what about the measure of lockdown, shutdown all the business activities? Have Indonesian announced lockdown and under state of emergency in dealing with COVID-19?
The management is quite complicated. The lockdown is to be declared by a governor. Indonesia has 34 provinces, meaning that we have 34 governors. But to declare a lockdown, the governor needs to get the approval from the Ministry of Health and some other government ministries in terms of social, political, and economic measurement. Right now, Jakarta is under a partial lockdown, and also some other smaller provinces. But the most important is Jakarta and the greater Jakarta area, which is under West Java and Banten provinces. Those two provinces are also asking for, West Java especially, are asking for a lockdown, especially in the outskirts of Jakarta. Jakarta is the epicenter of the outbreak. About 50-60% of the infection happening in Jakarta.
And that's how Indonesia is dealing with COVID-19 pandemic situation. And that's all from Thai PBS World tonight.